Hello, I am Athik Nagappan. I am currently pursuing second year mechatronics engineering in SNS College of Technology. So, I am going to talk on the topic virtual assistant, the Google Assistant. Let's go. First of all, what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence (AI) is a wide-ranging branch of computer science concerned with building smart machines capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. Artificial intelligence is intelligence demonstrated by machines as opposed to natural intelligence displayed by animals, including humans. Leading AI textbooks define the field as the study of intelligent agents. Any system that perceives its environment and takes action that maximizes its chance of achieving its goals. Some popular accounts use the term artificial intelligence to describe machines that mimic cognitive functions that humans associate with the human mind, such as learning and problem solving. However, the definition is rejected by major AI researchers. What is Google Assistant? Google Assistant is a voice-activated virtual assistant first introduced by Google at 2016 conference in California. Much like Amazon's Alexa, Apple's Siri, or Microsoft Cortana, the Google Assistant provides contextual information and performs actions such as booking a restaurant reservation or sending a message on behalf of the user. Smartphone users can also type request to Google Assistant if they don't want to use voice input. To perform its functions, Google Assistant relies on the artificial intelligence technology such as natural language processing and machine learning to understand what the user is saying and to make suggestions or act on that language input. Google Assistant is the foundational piece of Google's AI-first strategy that CEO Sundar Pichai discussed at the 2016 made by Google event. When was Google Assistant released? Google first announced Google Assistant in May 2016 at the 10th annual Google I/O Devices developer event at the Shoreline Amphitheater in Mountain, California. In September 2016, one of the first previews of Google Assistant came with the launch of Google Allo, the smart messaging app. The first phone that took advantage of Google Assistant, the Pixel phone, was unveiled on October 4, 2016. That same day, it's opened for pre-orders and it arrived in stores on October 2016. Google Home, which also utilizes Google Assistant, became publicly available on November 4, 2016. Google Assistant continues to be updated regularly with new features and integrations. What can Google Assistant do? Google Assistant offers voice commands, voice searching, and voice-activated device control, letting you complete a number of tasks after you said the OK Google or Hey Google wake words. It is designed to give you conversational interactions. Google Assistant will control your devices and your smart home, access information from your calendars and other personal information, find information online from restaurant bookings to directions, weather and news, control your music, play content on your Chromecast or other compatible devices, run timers and reminders, make appointments and send messages, open apps on your phone, radio notifications to you, real-time spoken translations, and finally play games. Continued conversation means you don't have to say Hey Google or follow-up request. Instead, once you started talking to Google, it listens for a response without needing a trigger phrase all the time. Google can also recognize voice profiles for different people. so it knows who is talking to it and can tailor the responses accordingly. You can also ask for multiple things at the same time. As Google Assistant knows you and understands context, it will react in an informed or smart way. That's important as it gives voice control a lot more power and moves it on from only reacting to specific phrases or commands. It is designed to be more than just reactive. Features include the ability to check into your flight, airline and destination dependent, as well as the ability to book a room with some partners, and there's an interpreter mode on Google Nest device and smart displays too. With it, you can ask Google Assistant to help you conduct a conversation in dozens of languages. Just say, "Hey Google, be my Spanish interpreter" to start interpreter mode and get real-time spoken and on smart displays written translation to aid the conversation. Google Assistant in Nest devices forms the foundation of smart home and control. It's compatible with a wide range of devices. You can control heating, lights, and various things. Devices that offer Google Assistant. Google Assistant on phones. Google Assistant is available on Android phones with all recent models offering the AI system. Even devices that offer another AI system like Samsung's Bixby also offer Google Assistant. Essentially, if your phone has Android, your phone has Google Assistant. It's possible to have Assistant respond to you even when your Android phone is locked too. If you opt in through your settings, you can also opt into personal queries to cars. Google Assistant is available in cars that supports Android Auto. Although Android Automotive has seen a Google-based UI in some recent cars, for example, Polestar. Google Nest devices. Nest Audio is a Chromecast-enabled speaker that serves as a voice-controlled assistant. It's the first port of call for Google Assistant in the home, and it's an expanding ecosystem. There are currently 5 devices available in the Nest speaker portfolio, including the Nest Audio, Google Home Max, Nest Mini, the second generation Nest Hub Max. You can ask Google Nest devices to do anything that ask Assistant to do on Android phones. But moving into the home really puts the emphasis on other services and functions like smart home control, compatibility with Chromecast to send movies to your TV, a whole lot more. Wear OS. Google Assistant is also available on wearable running Wear OS. Using the wake words, you will be able to ask Assistant to perform a number of tasks from your watch, such as turning the heating down or replying to a message. Google or Android TV. Android TV also offers Google Assistant on a number of devices. Sony offers Android TV across its models. For example, there's another dimension here. Though Sony TVs not only run Android TV, but they are also compatible with Google Nest and Amazon Alexa, meaning you can control your TV by talking to your speaker, as well as control your lights talking to your TV. Set-top boxes like Nvidia Shield TV also support Google Assistant, and the list of popular media and entertainment devices supporting Assistant is constantly expanding, with TVs from Samsung also in the mix, as well as this Hopper family of receivers. With Google Assistant built in, you can use your voice to turn on the TV, change volume and channels, and switch between inputs. Partners with Android TV devices and Google Assistant include Sony, Hisense, Philips, TCL, Skyward, Xiaomi, Haier, Samsung, JVC, and Toshiba. More recently, Google has launched Google TV, which is the interface that runs over the top of Android TV and is generally replacing raw Android TV. Again, it supports Assistant to aid search for content as well as controlling playback from other Assistant-enabled devices. Headphones and earbuds. There's support for Google Assistant in many wireless headphones too, including the Bose Quiet Comfort 45 and Google's own Pixel Buds, as well as models from brands like Harman, JBL, Sony and others. With this kind of integration, you can access the AI assistant without opening your phone. Usually, you just press a button and start talking to Google Assistant. Google Smart Displays. The race to be everywhere in your home is on, with Google having its own take on the Echo Show, the Nest Hub Max. Smart displays offering Google Assistant also include companies like JBL, Lenovo and LG. The Lenovo Smart Display is available in 7-inch, 8-inch and 10.1-inch screen options. The JBL LinkView meanwhile has a pair of 10-watt speakers and 8-inch touchscreen. Smart home devices and appliances. A lot of connected devices are compatible with Google Assistant, from light bulbs to fridges, everything else between. Assistant works with over 1,000 home automation brands and more than 10,000 devices. These devices can be controlled by Google Assistant, meaning you can turn lights and switches on and off. You can change the heating or get an alert that your cleaning is done or washing cycle is finished. Google Assistant is also compatible with IFTTT, so custom recipes can be created. As we said before, you also don't need to talk into Google Home. You can use a Assistant on your phone to interact. Essentially, once you set up a device via the Google Home app on your phone, that control will be available anywhere you can interact with Google Assistant. In the same way, Amazon Alexa works. How does Google Assistant work? Google Assistant is built based on natural language processing, a procedure of converting speech into sounds, words and ideas. Google first records your speech because interpreting sounds take up a lot of computational power. The recording of your speech is sent to Google servers to be analyzed more efficiently. Google breaks down what you said into individual sounds. It then consults a database containing various words, pronunciations, to find which words most closely correspond to the combination of individual sounds. It then identifies keywords to make sense of the task and carry out corresponding functions. For example, if Google Assistant notices the words like weather or temperature, it would open the weather app. Google servers send the information back to your device and Google Assistant may speak. If Google Assistant needs to say anything back to us, it will go through the same process described above, but in reverse order. The voice behind the Google Assistant. Google Assistant launched using the voice of Kiki Basil for the American female voice, the same actors for the Google voicemail system since 2010. From 2016 until present day, the Assistant default voice is portrayed by Antonia Flynn. On October 11, 2019, Google announced that Lisa Ray had been added to Google Assistant as an optional voice. It could be enabled by the user by saying, "Okay Google, talk like Lisa." Conclusion: Google Assistant is always there for you, and it's never going to need sleep or salary. It will never ask you for a day off, which is the best kind of assistant. Make sure to take full advantage of what it has to offer so you can stay organized. Not only Google Assistant, there are also many other AI assistants such as Amazon Alexa, Siri used in iPhones, Bixby, Lyra, Cortana used in Windows OS platform, etc. The birth of the first virtual assistant, however, began with IBM Simon in the early 1990s. It was a digital speech recognition technology that became a feature of the personal computer with IBM and Philips. The Siri voice assistant was released as an app for iOS in February 2010. It was the first modern digital virtual assistant installed on a smartphone. introduced later as a feature of the iPhone 4S on 4 October 2011. Others followed including IBM's Watson, Microsoft Cortana, Amazon's Alexa, Facebook's Google's Google Assistant, Alibaba's Ali Genie, and Yandex's Alice. And thus the era of smart speaker for the end consumers began. So this is how Google Assistant created, and this is how the Google Assistant uses its AI. I am ending this. Thank you.